Yeah, we are actually experiencing growth as we have always been. And for the first 8 months of this year, there's been a growth of 3.5% over the figures that we had for the same period last year. It will depend on which particular segment or which particular market we are addressing. For more mature markets like the United Kingdom, they already know more than just KL. So they will be actually seeking out more places. They have been to KL, they like to come back there for a while, and their experience in the destination will encourage them to try more. However, when we speak to markets that are coming for the first time, it's very likely that they will be only there in KL for the start, and maybe they go to Penang or some of the other major points. Or there's this favorite journey between Singapore and Bangkok that brings KL in the center. That seems to be the start of many tours, particularly from China and the Far East. Of course, for those people coming from Europe, they find what they want even before they arrive KL. Some of them avoid KL altogether. They are out there in Borneo, or they are out there in the jungles of our national park. And for them, it's very niche, and we have operators who actually track them and take them to more of these places. Malaysia, located where it is surrounded by water. Very little influence anything on the site can do to us, and it's now left to the tourists. Tourists come there to appreciate what is there, and so the effect is minimal. And then we have a very small population, and this population is very well exposed right from the start. They are not only cosmopolitan, coming from different parts of the world. Each one has retained their own identity more than their people back home where they came from. It's a cul-de-sac. It has maintained some culture, some traditions that even people from China come in to see that culture of China in Malaysia. People from India come in to see that culture in Malaysia. For example, the festival Taipusam is a Hindu festival. Logic will suggest that it must have come somewhere from India. It's growing in Malaysia. But in fact, the Taipusam in Malaysia is larger than any such festival anywhere in India. So Malaysia has not only retained culture, but also developed a culture that becomes an attraction to the people where it came from. And on the part of the government, there is this constant effort to emphasize on conservation, to emphasize on maintaining resources for the future. And we can afford that because of, again, we have the space, we have the resources, and we have the advantage of learning from many places that have actually done it otherwise and wish they could go back. So we learn from them. We have that advantage because we came in late. We have been into this industry in a big way in the last 30 years. By then, many resorts all over the world had already seen the downturn in terms of their appeal and tourist experience. We have programs like the Homestay program, very much nurtured and closely monitored by the government, because it involves a rural population who has to be carefully guided in dealing with the expectations of foreign visitors. And it involves visitors from foreign countries who has to be sensitive about the local culture. So this is a very, very nurtured program, and United Nations World Tourism Organization has rightfully acknowledged our effort and gave us an award, an Odysseus Award, for the best policy governing such a development. And beyond that, we also have another program called Malaysia My Second Home that encourages people who are retiring to buy up homes and stay in the country to enjoy pleasant climate, the tropical climate. It comes in very handy for a lot of retirees because it becomes cheaper for them to live and more healthy environment for them to survive. And these are some of the segments that we're working on with the government's input towards enhancing the industry. When it comes to cuisine, it's a question of the nature of the food. The Indian and Chinese have been migrating from wherever they have been. They brought with them enough market base for them to operate their own food. And beyond that, they have the expertise in terms of the cooks and the entrepreneurs with the capital, and they have actually expanded. Some of these Chinese or Indian restaurants overseas is actually owned by Malaysian. They find it more convenient to brand it Indian or Chinese than to brand it Malaysian because of the sheer market segment that they are featuring too. And if we call a restaurant Malay restaurant, that food is again mixed between Thai, Indonesian, and a combination of some Indian and some Chinese food. So it is purely because of our population size and the fact that there is enough to do back home, that this enterprise has not gone beyond as much as it has for the Thais, the Indonesians, the Indians, and the Chinese.